What is up, Breaking Bad fans? Kino here, and we are back with another Breaking Bad log. Today we're looking at the 5th episode of the 5th season, Dead Freight. Now, the episode opens with a young boy riding a dirt bike through the desert. He stops when he finds a tarantula and puts it in a jar. He then hears a train in the distance and rides off to follow it. After the title, Walt visits Hank at his new office at the DEA. Hank immediately notices Walt's new watch, showing what an observant detective he really is. As they talk, Walt breaks down and starts crying about him and Skylar. Hank, being uncomfortable with emotions, excuses himself to get a coffee. While he's gone, Walt plants the bug in his office, which was his plan the entire time. Later, in Houston, Lydia is brought in and handcuffed in the basement of an abandoned building. Mike forces her to call the DEA so they can figure out if the tracking device came from them or her. After the call, Hank reveals that the bug was not from them. Apparently proven right, Mike and Walt agree to kill her, despite her protest that she's innocent. However, at that moment, Hank calls the Houston office, who reveals that it was them that planted the device. However, all of the magical barrels are marked, meaning they can't use them. Despite her innocence, Mike still wants her dead for trying to have him killed. She instead offers them a deal for methylamine in exchange for her living. Privately, she talks with Walt to arrange the deal. She admits she tried to have Mike killed, and her rationale behind it fits Walt's logic as well. She then reveals to the group the plan. They will steal the methylamine from a train. There's a 2-mile area in the desert known as Dark Territory, where no communication systems work. Mike insists that the only way for this heist to be successful is if they kill the crew. Lydia is shocked by their hesitation to kill, given that they just tried to murder her. Later, Walt, Mike, and Jesse discuss the plan. Mike doesn't want to kill the guys, and instead suggests they switch back to a pseudo-cook. Walt doesn't want to cut their production like that, and balks at the idea that they'll be forced to do this meager cook in order to pay Mike's guys. However, Jesse comes up with an idea to steal the methylamine without ever getting caught. The next day, they head out to the spot to measure everything. They find a perfect spot to do the heist and bury 2 giant plastic barrels there. They enlist Todd's help for the heist, informing him that they plan to replace the methylamine they steal with water so that no one will suspect theft. In particular, they stress to him that no one can ever find out about the heist. Meanwhile, Junior is upset that he's being forced to stay with Hank and Marie while no one will tell him what's going on. He sneaks back home without permission, upsetting Skylar. Walt then talks to him and tells him that he needs to do as he's told. Despite his anger at being kept in the dark, he goes. When he's gone, Skylar tells Walt that she will never change her mind about him. However, if he agrees to keep the kids away, she'll launder his money without question. She notices the dirt on his clothes and sarcastically asks if he was out burying bodies, at which point he tells her that he's going to rob a train. On the day of the heist, Kubi is brought in to drive a dirt truck onto the railroad tracks. He stops it there and pretends to have broken down. The engineers manage to stop the train before they hit him, at which point they get to work robbing the train. Jesse goes underneath to steal the methylamine, while Todd goes on top to add water. The whole thing is going according to plan until a good Samaritan shows up in his truck. He offers to push the dirt truck off the tracks, and Kubi has no way of refusing this without coming off as suspicious. With the tracks clear, Mike tells Walt to stop before they all get caught. However, Walt insists that they keep going until they hit their target. At the very last moment when the train starts to move, Walt cuts it. Todd and Jesse move to put everything back to normal, with Jesse having to literally lay down as the train passes over him. Though it was an incredibly close call, they've managed to pull off the heist successfully. However, as they turn, they see the kid from the beginning on his dirt bike watching them. Before they can react, Todd pulls out his gun and shoots the kid so that there's no witnesses. They're all left speechless by this turn of events. The title Dead Freight refers to wasted space on a vessel that's been paid for in full. It's also connected to the death at the end of the episode. The original title of the episode was Dark Territory, referencing the area of no contact that Lydia brought up before, as well as the dark territory the show is going into with the death of Drew Sharp. However, they had to change it because of the film Under Siege 2: Dark Territory, which has a very similar plot to this episode and also starred Jonathan Banks. There's a deleted scene in this episode where Walt explains that this heist will be the biggest in history, easily eclipsing Jesse James, who is referenced in this episode and the previous one. The scene is shot very well, with Jesse and Todd symbolically on different sides of the tracks, showing the different paths that they will take, and also acting as kind of the devil and angel on Walt's shoulders.
You're not just gonna let him die like that, are you?
My shoulder angel.
Don't listen to that guy. He's trying to lead you down the path of righteousness. I'm gonna lead you down the path that rocks.
The scene was cut because it gave away that the heist will be successful, but Todd talks about this scene in a future episode. Finally, when Walt is planting the bug in Hank's office, you can see a lamp that is virtually identical to the lamp seen in The Sopranos. The lamp was used by the FBI to bug the Soprano house, just like Walt is bugging Hank's office, and this is most certainly another reference to The Sopranos. And that's pretty much everything I have to say about the episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next one, coming soon. A hit? You mean like The Sopranos? Yeah, like The Sopranos. Russell, Sean, Heart of Markness, Logan, Clean, John Reyna, Jesse Sterling, Andrew Stewart, Ops Racing Media, Daz J-Kid, Conan Higgins, Sam Cedarlin, Don Lucania, Celery Man, Jenna Marie Johnson, Brad Smith Studios, and Uncle Mike.